They had the TSA.
Do you remember where? Do you remember where?
It was in Austin. It was in Austin. We were taking off somewhere. I think I was with Aaron, probably with Aaron because we traveled the most together. And I remember seeing the cart, and you know, they walk up to someone, sir, let me check your drink, and they hold the little slip over it, whatever it's got. It detects for bomb residue, and they hold that over the drink. And they say, okay, you can cap it up. And they did it to somebody else. And then this old lady walks up and she goes, can you test mine? I mean, it was literally this little old lady voice. I couldn't believe it. You know, we're actually walking to get on the plane. And I didn't want to, you know, obviously I didn't want to get drug into a search, or I would have taped it. But next time I'll just tape it and we'll just let the chips fall where they may.
It's easy. Just get it up and get footage of it. Because I mean, this is now, quote, breaking. I've seen this at least for 3 years.
Oh, yeah. This was a while back because I haven't traveled in a while. And it was sort of in the middle of when we were traveling. You know, so it was when I was on that Jag getting video of everybody for like 2 films I never made. Exactly. But we just aired all the interviews anyways. There's a lot of good interviews. I mean, and you know, what I like about that is that we usually when we do a video or DVD, they don't get to see the whole interview. You know, they get to see like parts of it. Well, here you get to see the whole thing and a lot of information that people are putting out there. Well, that's why I haven't made a film in 2 years. I mean, we make films every week. They're like 20 minutes long, an hour long. We're just blasting in all directions. Production quality's even higher. Yeah. It's just blasting. But I do need to make a film just because they get seen 30, 40 million times instead of a 500,000 million times. But you add up all the little films, it's more views, which is what I want, is to get the word out. Right. But the films, it does have this event feeling. For whatever reason, people see it as a film. It's time to go watch it. Get everybody together. And yeah. But I mean, every day is a film. Every day is, you know, we have like some days 3-hour-long nightly news now. I watched Dreams of a Real Father this morning. I got up at 7. I'm like, well, nobody's up. I'm going to watch this. And I watched it. I was blown away by it. You've been so busy. You know why I was flipping out then? Yeah, exactly. By the way, we have in the TSA shirts, not just in the Fed shirts, available at Infowars.com, InfoWarsShop.com. That supports us. And the reason I say that is we have Dreams of My Real Father. It's not even on sale till July 24th. We got contacted by the filmmaker, and they've been allowed to sell it early. I don't know why they just dropped that in our... I never even asked the guy, why are you letting me just sell it first? He knows you're the tip of the spear. I mean, I guess that's a good thing for everybody, because we got a big gas tank to fill around here. Infowarshop.com or 888-253-3139. But good. It's good now that this is breaking. I mean, I'm not like, oh, this is going on 3 years. It's finally, local news covers it, so now it's real. Right. Now we're allowed to talk about it. Right. Because KJCT8 said so. They gave us permission. I mean, remember TSA for years said, we don't grope. Oh, you just go down the pants. I mean, that's not groping. Yeah. And a rape victim start crying, that's their problem. Right. Because they have to tell you when something is a problem. So, but again, TSA won't say why they do it. Well, and the whole ashes spilling incident too, where they dump and then yell at the guy. And then laugh at him, because it's about power. Some of the amazing articles up at Infowars.com, like the fog of Infowar, DARPA wants to bust whistleblowers with disinformation technology. That's really just an excuse to flood disinfo everywhere so everybody's confused. That's what enemies do to a conquered people. The Pentagon wants to stop whistleblowers before they can leak any data by enticing them with fake documents and information. So really all that is espionage activities against what's left of America packaged as security. That's just like they say, oh, we've got to have this takeover of the internet. We have to have the cybersecurity legislation. Have to have the Pentagon spy on all of you because of Stuxnet that the Pentagon made with Israel. And there's such disdain for the public. It's like, yeah, we got to get rid of your freedom because of Stuxnet that we made, but just never mind that. Oh, yeah, we got to get rid of your freedom because Al-Qaeda, and we're all lucky. Publicly dines at the Pentagon with the Secretary of the Army 2 weeks before 9/11 when he's on the news, all the other top Al-Qaeda members as well all hang out. But you know what? Sure, we're using them against Libya and Syria, but aren't they scary? I mean, come on, just give your rights up right now. Right now, Al-Qaeda's going to get you, like they got Gaddafi and they're getting Assad. You don't want them to get you, do you? You're like, but they work for you. And they worked against the Serbs, too. And they're going to work. And I'm like, but you did. Well, it's just like, it doesn't matter. The public can't understand you. Ha-ha. And we're going to dance on their graves. And I'm like, but that's not very nice. It's madness. The globalists are crazy. Crazy like foxes, but crazy.
They're crazy. They go around like a lion, roaring, seeing who they may devour. Every verse in the Bible about the devil is exactly... In fact, guys, will you print me verses? You can just type in verses in the Bible about the devil. There'll be whole compendiums online. Give me King James if you can. Maybe later if I have a chance, I'll do a vignette or something for the nightly news tonight. I didn't get much sleep last night with a firework malfunctioning and almost burning my finger off. See, this right hand has been through Hades. All the knuckles have been broken. It's got the, what do you call it? The tendons are down in the middle of my hand now. See that? Glink, glink, glink. See that? And then, it doesn't matter. This finger I severed, was dangling my skin once. It's burned again. This baby's super burned. That's when a sheepdog attacked me when I was a kid, and I punched him in the mouth. I mean, this whole hand, I've got just cuts all over. It looks like a farmer's hands. You ever seen a farmer's hands? And those Homeland Security reports, they've got the new one out saying liberty lovers are terrorists, but that's just a repeat of all the other ones. And they say if somebody comes in to the gun shop, to the barber shop, I mean, there's hundreds of these flyers. We've shown them to you. They're public on the FBI's website. People don't believe they're real, even though they're on it. And it says if a farmer comes in and has got cuts on their hands, go ahead and call the police. Really? Oh, it says if they got missing limbs, go ahead and put them. Because it's just everything's suspicious. We got to check the bottled water you bought after the checkpoint at the airport. Because it's all about you're bad, the government's good. And so you read the list. So, is that farmer missing a finger? Let me tell you, folks, you got to go to a meeting of farmers. What's left? Go to some farmer meeting in the town near you, and I would bet 1 out of 5 farmers there is missing at least a finger or a toe or a foot or an arm. But see, it's bad. It's bad. Bad, bad, bad to be missing a digit. All of you are terrorists. All of you are bad, but the government. And terrorists could be anywhere. So now the TSA's on the highways. They're in the airport parking lots. They're at the bus terminals. They're going to be everywhere. Had a congresswoman on Tuesday about it. All right, we're going to come back. I got the head honcho, the creator of WorldNetDaily, straight ahead. We're going to get his take on everything, Joe Farah. And we are going to have Dr. Blaylock on as well to give us his take on government health care and take your calls in the third hour. Also, some big breaking news on Merck vaccine fraud. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We are joined by the man who created WorldNetDaily, a pioneer in alternative constitutional media, pioneer in media, period. And, of course, he worked and ran newspapers, magazines for many years before that. He is a true pioneer, and I am honored to have him on the show. I know years ago we tried to get him on, and I guess we were just going to the wrong place or whatever, and we're never able to. But then when I was up at Bilderberg a month ago, WorldNetDaily, WND.com, contacted my office and said, hey, we're literally 3 miles, and they were, or less, from where Bilderberg is being held. Come on over. They went over to their really cool command center. I mean, my place looks like some kind of military bunker or something, not on purpose. People would expect it to look like that, but it's just an old rehab warehouse. This place was just really an awesome-looking newsroom with, activity buzzing and, people all wearing suits going around doing stuff. So a first-class operation, but it's not what WorldNetDaily looks like inside that impressed me. It's the fact that they were it back in, 96, 97, 98, other than the Drudge Report, which broke a lot of news, but also linked to things. They were it. And so continuing to grow into publishing and radio and news reporters, TV, they do it all. And it's good to not be lonely. I mean, it'd be scary if we were it, folks. There's not many. There's Drudge. There is WorldNetDaily. Newsmax a little bit, but it's just really changed over the years. Into just absolute mainline Republican. I'm not bashing them. It's just not what it was. And so that's it. I mean, there's not really a lot out there that can really get a story out. There's thousands of great outlets out there doing great reporting, but there's only a few that can punch a story out there. And here I am interviewing myself now, saying things about Joe. And, I don't usually wax about a guest on and on. Joseph Farah, I keep calling him Joe because I got an uncle named Joe. named Joseph, but I call him Joe. Joseph Farah of WorldNetDaily. Joseph, tell us about yourself. Because a lot of people have heard you on national TV or radio, and you never really talk about yourself. Where does Joseph Farah come from? What made you a trailblazer? What woke you up? And then out of all the topics, the government takeover of healthcare, the big news you're going to be breaking with Sheriff Arpaio, Joe Arpaio, coming up in the next few weeks. Of all the things going on, I'm going to ask you what you think is most important. But first off, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm glad we get an hour because I love talking about myself. But first of all, Alex, let me tell you what an honor it is to be with you. I feel like I finally arrived. You know, I've done all the Fox shows and all of the big radio shows, but I've never been on the Alex Jones show. So I know that I finally arrived. What can I say?
No, I've arrived with Joe Farah on with us. So, again, tell us about what made you. I mean,
well, here's my story in a nutshell. Grew up a kid in New York suburbs, and really from my earliest memories was I knew I wanted to write. I loved writing. I didn't know exactly what kind of writing, but I as a kid, I would write short stories and things like that. Just always loved that. And as I got a little bit older and got into college, Watergate was taking place. And, of course, you probably remember. No, Alex, you don't remember this. I keep forgetting how young you're a kid compared to me. But for those listeners who remember the Watergate era, they will remember that this was, the big story, the all-consuming story across the nation. And, a major role was played by two reporters for the Washington Post. And if you go back and look at that time period of the mid-1970s, late 1970s, the most attractive job in the entire world for people my age was to become a reporter, an investigative reporter who could, change the country for the better, root out corruption and fraud and waste and abuse and all these terrible things that we see going on in government. So this looked very attractive to me, and when I saw the movie All the President's Men, with Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman playing Woodward and Bernstein, I envisioned myself up there on that big screen, and I was off to the races. So that's what I studied in college, and when I got out, I fully expected that the New York Times would be waiting to hire me, but that wasn't the case, and I found out I had to, start at the bottom, working at a weekly newspaper, and, which was great because you learn to do a lot of things that you would never get to learn to do at a big newspaper. Graduated to, the dailies and kind of got a break in 1979 when, through some acquaintances I had made, I got a chance to go to Los Angeles and get a job at the Herald Examiner, which was at the time one of the biggest papers in the country. It was the Hearst Corporation's biggest paper. And I very quickly rose through the